We kindly ask all remaining passengers of Singapore Airlines Flight SQ352 Singapore to proceed to gate 159.
어서 오십시오. 감사합니다. 네. 아무 때나 괜찮습니다.
주시기 바랍니다. We're now ready for takeoff. Please make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened.
expect to land at Seoul Incheon International Airport in about 40 minutes. The current temperature at Incheon is 80 degrees Celsius or 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's clear.